Okay, a couple of weeks ago, I ran into a series of videos, uh, we interviewing and listening to Cory Doctorow, and I thought he was an interesting character, had a lot of interesting views, did some research on him, and he's got a long-standing reputation for being a part of the um, process of getting the right kind of internet that's going to be a good value for everybody. He's been in the trenches for quite a while regarding the research on getting good performance from the internet and the laws and the software companies and what they're doing and what they're doing that's benefiting them and not us versus what they could be doing to benefit us and benefit society in general. Um, I think that you'll find him to be an interesting character with he's got a little bit of a stand-up presentation, but he backs up his information with good research. And I think this is going to be a pretty tasty interview. Not quite sure if I'm going to stop it and pause it and talk about stuff when he goes, well, we're going through it. I've gotten pretty good at, I usually record these videos and then since I'm doing the editing, I take all that out. But if I do stop it and we talk about it, I can make sure that I get the discussion about the video, regardless of whether we're in the video or after the video. So um, without further ado, let me get you started with this interview with Cory Doctorow. All right, I'll make a stop there. I can say that I know that Pixar's labor force are doing usually about 60 hours a week just prior to movie releases. And I know that there was a trend from cell animation to computer animation years ago, and Disney laid off. They called it Black Monday, something like 1,500 animators, and so I guess um, I thought I would just get some ideas of what your thoughts are. So far, do you like this guy, or you think he's just nuts?
Yes, I love this guy, and yes, he's nuts, and that's a good thing.
Well, I guess we don't need to raise hands, but maybe we should.
Yeah.
I don't think he's nuts. I think he actually has a lot of information. This format is not a particularly organized format for him to get the information out in, but I think if we listen carefully, we'll learn a lot.
He's a walking explosion of ideas and concepts and analysis, and it's wonderful to live in a world where he is.
I could switch gears and probably find him doing a presentation. Would that be better?
No. You go.
Okay.
We're just all admiring him. That's all.
Okay.
Or most of us are.
All right. Dean?
Yeah. Stan has previewed some of this guy to me, and he's mind blowing. But I'm almost yawning and falling asleep because I have intuitively known this stuff since Google became Google. But yeah, how long is this video, Stan? 2.5 hours or hour and a half or?
He didn't want to lose his place.
Yep. Never mind. Yeah.
Just a second. I've got it. I've got to, 1 hour 20. 1 hour 20. Okay, I'll continue on. Dean,
Yeah. First of all, I wish I'd kept my lava lamp.
Hmm.
Yeah, I had a blue one, blue green. No, this guy is man. He's erudite, great, provocative. What
like,
can I?
like watching George Carlin. I remember his ability to just
Yep.
go bam, 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 bam,
Cut,
bam.
cut to the chase. Go ahead, David.
Oh, I had a lava lamp I was going to offer you.
Oh, check how much. What color?
I'd have to look.
Yeah. I don't know. I got tired of schlepping my lava lamp around from apartment to apartment or back in the old days. Hey,
On that idea of buying back shares, the story that he shared about that, I just recently watched a documentary about the early years of the Beach Boys, and they came out with their first hit, and it was being played on the radio, and they got all of their friends to call in and to tell them how much they love that song, and they were able to get the radio station to play the song more till they got their first record contract. So it's kind of a way of trying to use influence to jack things up, jack prices up, and so forth. Go ahead, Dean.
and there was probably payola. You remember? You guys are old enough to remember payola.
Yeah.
And now payola is the internet. Yeah.
Payola was more obvious.
Yeah, and prosecutable, as I remember.
Well, sometimes. I was a program director back in the 60s in a radio station. It was the Wild West in a way. And then the big record companies got together, and there was a time when there were only like 5 record companies in the world. But they eventually started splitting things off because people were noticing. And new technology came along, and so you didn't need all of the facilities of the big record company. You could make, especially when digital recording came along. And digital also gave you perfect copies. And that was something you couldn't do with vinyl or mag tape.
Perfect in quotes.
Well, digital, you can do perfect copy.
Why is vinyl the biggest growing market in
That I don't know.
well,
They've
because
convinced you
it
that
sounds better.
they've convinced you that their quality of the audio is better than digital.
It has nuance. It has nuance.
It's
It's
this is an old argument.
yep.
Vinyl, people say that vinyl has a limited frequency response, and technically, yes, it does, but that frequency response limit is far higher than the human ear.
Yeah.
So the band stops of the CD format are not necessary. Back in the late 60s, there was a thing from JVC that put 4 channels of discrete audio onto vinyl. And that went out to 32,000 hertz. And if you had the equipment to play it, it was wonderful. I could not tell a live piano from that recording. But we went a different way. It was called CD4. And it was expensive. You needed a special cartridge, and you needed, obviously, and you needed a very good turntable. But yeah, better technology left by the roadside.
And back in the late 70s, everybody was buying these very expensive Dolby noise reduction systems to get rid of the crack, snapple, and pop. And that was encoding the Dolby signal into, if you tried to record that to a CD, then you had to record. It just got confusing as to whether you were doing pre Dolby or post Dolby recording to an audio tape. Another pause point.
I can't believe there's no hands up. There we go.
Yeah. I wasn't aware that antitrust laws had been strengthened in the last few years. But that's because it hasn't been in the United States, but generally around the world, that's seems to be a movement. I wasn't aware of that.
Oh yeah.
So
It's if you look at the right to repair corner of law,
yeah,
you find a real mess.
I think he's going to talk about John Deere and not allowing farmers to repair their tractors.
Good. They need to be embarrassed.
Dean.
Who's calling? Thank you. Yes, laws have been passed. Are those laws being enforced? No. There's the rub.
My thought about some of this is that I have always tried. I mean, I've been under the delusion, I guess, that the Silicon Valley companies were leaning towards green.
Laugh out
I
loud.
guess maybe because Apple put sun panels on all their big circular building and so forth. But and I've always been saying that why does the, like Robert Reich, for example, who likes to put Musk and Bezos and Gates and Zuckerberg up there as being the evil guys, but never talks really about the oil companies and why they're not being brought into the spyglass of investigation. Maybe because they've already sort of been through the whole monopoly game and they've been antitrusted out as far as they could. But because I believe that oil and fossil fuel is still the ultimate commodity, because you can't do any of this stuff, building data centers and all of that stuff depends on energy. And there hasn't, and Cory doesn't talk about that. He's talking all about the high tech stuff, but he's sort of, so we got two levels. I'm going to say the energy level and the distribution of the services level being presented by by big tech and the internet, Apple, Google. I mean, I have an Apple phone. I love Google. I watch YouTube and Wikipedia are my favorite things to do. So I realize that I'm very much in the mainstream. I like seeing ads that come up that are relative to what I do. I'm basically a candidate for this. When I look at my Google Stream ads, a lot of them are about music editing, which is something I do. And I go, oh, this is convenient. I can actually learn more about this. So maybe I'm in the hell, and I'm thinking I'm in heaven, but I'm in hell. I can't tell the difference.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting harder.
Dean,
Yeah. Real quick, a data center. Listen to NPR to go up and get my coffee this morning from 7-Eleven. And Texas. And by the way, Texas is a greener state than you would think. They used to have the highest fines and signs on the road. And Carol, forgive me, don't fuck with Texas. $10,000 or $1,000 fine when it was 50. And but anyway, they have 400 data centers, and they have permitted them, and they have no economic way of monitoring those permits. They can do whatever the heck they want because they're providing jobs and yada, 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 yada. And so that's the problem. But I don't know what Google you watch, but I belly fat, I don't get, sometimes I get, well, 1 out of 10 is usually for a set of tires I bought a year ago or something. I don't see a lot of relevancy in the targeted ads that I get. I see randomness, what somebody else thinks is relevant, what somebody else clicks on. I don't really give a darn.
you don't do Google anywhere near as much as I do.
I hope to heck I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really watch TV that much. Most of what I watch is YouTube.
Yep. Well,
And I'm not ashamed of it. I mean, the bottom line is I get educated by YouTube. I found this video by watching YouTube. I get tutorials on how to use my software by watching YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
every huge dark cloud has even a tiny sliver of silver lining.
Well, okay, Dean, you watch golf and you watch sports, I can criticize that if I want
But that doesn't harm my brain. It insulates my brain from the real. Well, yes, I understand. I'm a sports addict, but yeah.
Yes, and I get lovely videos of youthful hamsters on YouTube.
Cat videos.
Well, yeah, other people watch cat videos. I watch hamster videos.
Tom,
Sean has his hand up.
What was it, 3 weeks ago? My car's tire monitoring system said I had a low pressure tire. And so I went out and measured. And so I went over to the gas station, filled up my tires. And a couple of days later, it was back. And I paid more attention, and it's the right rear. And the car is going in for service, and they're going to look at it. But along the way, I wondered if maybe the problem was that my old tire pressure gauge was incorrect. And so I did a search looking for alternatives. Thought, somebody has a tire pressure gauge with an LED thing. It'll be much easier to read in the dark. And since then, it's a rare day that I don't get ads for tire pressure gauges.
Yeah.
It's bizarre. And the leakage of information is it's not a leak. It's a flood.
Yeah, they know everything you've done.
Yeah, anecdotally, this was years ago. I bought a set of tires for my sister's whatever Chevy Silverado, and then for 2 or 3 or 4 years, I got ads for a set of 4 tires. I said, "Don't you know that I bought 4 tires?" And I don't like the color black, so I'm going to set. I don't get it. Those are not targeted ads. They're mistargeted ads.
All right. Let's go. Time for a break.
Yeah.
Tom.
Why isn't he God?
Basically, economics is way behind the times. They still preach the law of supply and demand. That is no longer really the case. As we were seeing one side of it, he was talking about wages, that different people are offered different wages depending on their circumstances, not on their abilities. The same thing is true for pricing of goods. Since these companies that are trying to sell you things know everything about you now, they'll price their product differently for different people depending on what they think they can pay or their other circumstances. And the law of supply and demand is totally irrelevant in that case. So, well, economics has never been a very good exact science, but it's getting farther away from reality now because reality is really outpacing it.
Dean.
Yeah, I had friends in college who were getting while I was getting a BS in double E Comp E, they were getting a BS in economics. And I go, obviously, economics is not a science, and you're using the other form of BS, as in bullcrap. Yeah. It's economics is more of a philosophy than a science, for sure.
Yeah, I wrote this down. Tech workers had mistakenly believed and told that they were temporarily embarrassed founders and that they didn't need a union. They need a union if they had if they need a union if they were not working effectively behind keyboards. They're now peeing in bottles or being subjected to 3 times the national average of injuries in an Amazon warehouse. And for myself, I know that I was working at Life Touch. At the time, there were 150 employees, day shift, night shift. We were retouching images and knocking out backgrounds. And within about, I started at 2014, and then they brought in a group from India. So they outsourced a lot of the work to India. At first, they said all of the images. There were 7,000 photographers sending images into Life Touch via DVD. And I said, why are you doing DVD? Why don't you use the internet? Oh, if we had one image of a youngster show up on a porn site, we would be sued, blah, 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 blah. So they didn't believe that the security, the internet security was sufficiently good enough. Well, it must have gotten good enough because now all of their images are going to India to Photo Wonder out of New Delhi. And they had basically that close to 100 some workers doing the work at the studio there on 100 and 494, went down to about 30. And then when we moved to Shutterfly down in Shakopee, we were down to about 25 or 30. And then in 2023, August of 2023, they closed the plant down.
So what was the reason for the loss of the jobs?
Internet security got good enough and they could pay a lot less in India.
But mostly because and a lot of the things that we were doing with the retouching was being able to be done by artificial intelligence.
Of course.
So
That's what I was thinking.
between artificial intelligence and offshoring, we were escorted to the curb.
Photoshop has a button for remove zits.
Well, the trick is to remove the zits and not the moles and the birthmarks and the things that you actually want to claim.
But AI can do that and can easily be trained to do that. It's good or better than a human. David, you had your hand up before.
Yeah, I forgot what I was going to say.
There you go. Yeah, well, I still have the floor, and then Carol. Now, decades ago, when I was interviewing up in Silicon Valley as a double E, right? I went to miserable San Diego State, and that was when Silicon Valley was really booming, and they were paying for engineers. But I realized I was allergic to cubicles. But yeah, I can remember, and there was a union. There were unions for engineers in those days. There absolutely were. And I interviewed at Hewlett Packard, and they said, "Oh, by the way, we're union free." And I go, "Okay, well, how does that work?" Well, you're salaried, right? And we give you 13 paychecks a year. They frankly told me that's our way of keeping the unions out. So come December 1st, you would get a full extra monthly paycheck, which was big in those days. We didn't make 40, 50 we made the equivalent of 100, 120 out of college, inexperienced. And yeah, they pretty much shut down the whole unionization movement for engineers, collective bargaining. And, IBM, I interviewed them and I found out I was allergic to three-piece pinstripe suits because that was the uniform for an engineer. And I said, no, this is uncomfortable. And they had a deal, about overtime, right? So you were nominal 40-hour a week. And then if there was a project where they needed extra time, you could negotiate that for being paid a 10% bonus per hour you put in, up to maybe 50%. So slave wages for working an 80, 100-hour week.
Carol.
Yeah. Apropos technical issues that are affecting us. Ever since I was forced to move to version 11, it's like my camera doesn't work right. And when I'm looking at, there are 6 of us who are on camera, and Stan is the only one who's, nice and clean and beautiful. The
Well,
rest of
you were
the
number
rest
three to
of
me.
us look like we're lighted by candlelight. Like we've gone for some senior dating service that is going to have low light and erase the wrinkles. So Stan, what do I do to get, my camera back to being clean like yours is?
I haven't gone to 11, so I'm not sure if I know what you're talking about.
Well,
But
okay, are you looking
aftermarket
at the six
camera.
of us right now?
I'm seeing 7.
Well, yeah, but one's not on camera.
Right. But Stan, you have an aftermarket, what you call it, camera, correct?
Yeah, I've got a plug-in. My camera is a USB camera. I'd show you.
And Carol, I don't know what you're seeing among other people, but to my eye, your video is actually very good. A lot of that has to do with the lighting, of course.
Well, I'm looking at, I'm looking at me, I'm looking at Stan, I'm looking at the rest of you guys. Actually, H. Tom has a pretty clean background, with that nice red,
That gorgeous rug.
whatever that is.
Carol, can you see my camera now?
Yeah.
Okay, that's my camera.
And
Okay,
by the
so
way,
it is your camera rather than,
I just took a napkin and wiped my camera because that's how I open my laptop. And my video, to my eye, got a little bit better. I liked it better when it was blurred, but
Yeah, well, like I said, dating app for seniors. It's all by candlelight. But it wasn't this obvious to me before I made the change to 11.
Tom, you're muted. You wanted to talk about something, or you muted?
I think he's talking to someone else.
No, I was trying to talk here.
Oh,
Stan has a light over. There's
Yeah, I
Stan
can see
and
the
the camera
reflection in
and the
his.
light. And that puts more light on his face. And so, yeah, this is how he's,
Yeah.
and I can reach over here
It's
and change
still,
this.
if he turns the light down, it's still sharp, you know. And I did not notice this blurring on the rest of us before I was forced to change to 11. So I thought, there must, and I have fussed around with, things that
Here,
say improve my image on the software, and it doesn't seem to help at all.
no, it's the
shouldn't-
software is blurring your background.
it's called depth of field.
Well, it's blurring my face as far as I can see.
Not to me.
Well,
It's
if you go,
it's softening your face a little bit, perhaps, but not blurring.
Like I said, dating app for seniors. And a light.
And see, I can fiddle with my ceiling LED light, and I can get there's a blue, white, and
Yeah.
warm, and all that
Okay,
rigmarole.
you're changing the lighting, but you're not
I'm
changing
changing the lighting with a
the
remote control.
sharpness of the
Correct.
picture.
Yep.
No, but the response of the computer system to the light change can be slower than on off. It
Yes.
keeps watching and then it changes it slowly to make it better, to make what it considers a better image.
now, Carol, can you see that I'm turning my blur on and off?
Yes, your background almost goes away.
That's the setting, and that's just a setting in Zoom.
Right, but I know what background blur means, and she doesn't have it on. That is the depth of field on the camera that's built into the particular laptop she bought.
Okay, so if I, no, that doesn't help.
Did you buy a new laptop, or did you install a new software?
No, I've been using this laptop for the last 4 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
You got smacked with Windows 11.
Wow. Yes, because your beautiful photo just above your head, I don't see as clearly as I used to see it before you went
yeah.
to 11. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Software rules.
In fact, I inherited this laptop from Hank when he went to live in a
Yep. What I
nitrogen.
suspect, now we're off into the Mr. Fix-It computer world, but I suspect your laptop is not capable of handling Windows 11. That a newer laptop that came with Windows 11 would be better adapted hardware to run the software of Windows 11. But
Now you're looking a little sharper. What
yeah,
did
well,
you
I'm on
do?
warm light now.
Huh?
Yeah, I changed my light back to warm, which is where I normally keep it.
Okay.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
going to do something here. I'm going to start the video again,
There you go.
but I want to do a little bit for Carol here. Carol, last week you weren't sure about the the chapter system that I was telling you about. Notice if I scroll down and I can see the death the death of competition. And another chapter here is called the manipulation stock price. And another chapter, you see this down here at the bottom left?
Yeah.
That's what you can do to all of the videos that I post on YouTube. These are the chapter headings.
I can't do it because I'm not hooked up with YouTube.
And if you go into the description, this is the description, and you click on the word more here, you can see all of the chapters here. If you
Yeah.
if I don't want to do it right now, but you can go to intro, and you can click on them here. So
Yeah.
I just wanted you to see that so you would understand that that's true for all of the videos I'm posting on the internet.
Yes, but if I did not know about it, it means a bunch of casual browsers also don't know about it. And
Well, if they're friends of yours, you can update them like I just updated you.
okay,
And like I'll keep telling Stan, I don't have what you got because I
and
do not
Stan,
have a Google account. I get poor
I,
on Google, YouTube.
I am not talking about wanting to show my video to my friends. I am talking about the time and effort and money that you spend posting these videos on the internet, attracting people to the Minnesota Futurists. And I am suggesting that having the video start out with the first half hour, which has nothing to do with the presentation, works against that.
All right, I'll start doing that.
Yeah, I'm not talking about, I want to show my video to my friends.
And by the way, this is beyond off topic.
Okay.
No, it's talking
Well,
about how hard it is to get it to work like it used to.
We know that. Yeah. You're right.
yeah,
That's on topic.
It is
it's intentional.
extensional, tangentially connected.
And you're suggesting that I can fix it by going out and buying a new laptop.
Well,
No.
I'm feeling lucky because I got Wordle in 2 today. So I bought a couple of lottery tickets. I'll email you a new laptop if I win.
You
Don't
will.
hold your breath.
Don't hold your
Yeah.
breath.
I would suggest that what I am talking about is right on topic.
All right, I agree. Let's go.
It's-
Here we go.
Wow.
I have a question. He said there were four things, competition, regulation, worker power, and one other. What was the other? What was the fourth thing? And then he covered two of them in more detail in the last few minutes. He didn't talk yet about worker power, and I can't remember what the fourth thing was. Does anyone remember?
Nope. But Stan,
There were four.
yeah, Stan, will you email or text this video to me? Because I'm going to watch it again.
Well, I wanted to just share a quick story. There was a video I saw about Fourier transfer, and there was during the the attempt to stop nuclear proliferation. They were trying to figure out how they could detect underground explosions, nuclear explosions. And no one had a way of doing that, so there was no way to basically determine if someone was cheating on the rules. And then there was an invention of a way of using Fourier transfer to
Fourier
Transforms.
transforms to be able
mathematical thing.
to be able to detect those kinds of incidences. So that's just what I was just kind of having a way to be able to measure whether people are complying to laws. I'm going to turn on the.
Carol has her hand up, or it's permanently up, one of the two.
Yes.
Go ahead, Carol.
I belong to an online science fiction book club where we basically look at one author per month. We go off and read at least two books of theirs and then discuss them. And we recently did Cory Doctorow about 6 months ago.
Wow.
And I ran into a particularly relevant to this discussion book of his. It is called Radicalized by Cory Doctorow. And it is four different novellas or novelettes or whatever they call those things between short stories and novels. And the one most relevant to what we're doing now, and a really good story, is called Unauthorized Bread. And I will just read you the very short description of it in the, on the side piece. Very much an illustration of what he's talking about here. Okay, unauthorized bread. Being poor is expensive. Being a refugee, lucky enough to have been granted a set-aside apartment in a Boston high-rise, has all kinds of hidden costs, such as smart kitchen appliances, programmed to only work with certain manufacturers' ingredients. It's great to teach yourself how to hack these systems. Even greater when you can show your fellow refugee neighbors' teenage kids how to do the same. Not so great when you realize you've just exposed yourself and them to the possibility of decades in prison. Now what? Very, very good novella by Cory Doctorow. titled Unauthorized Bread. And this hardback is called Radicalized. It has 4 stories, 4 novelettes in it, one of which is authorized bread. You can no doubt pick it up at half-price books or Uncle Hugo's, you know, when they have their secondhand stuff is very cheap.
Well, we know that during the Second World War, Tom Watson was negotiating with Hitler about how to use the Hollerith system to be able to segregate Jews from society and to push them into their situations that they got into. And the other thing you can look at now with ICE is how does ICE know where it's going to find their subjects, be it in LA or
It's
Portland or
the
Minneapolis?
internet, Stan.
Well, don't resident aliens have to keep their address registered and people able to find them?
Well, that's the more obvious way. But there, I mean, we know from Edward Snowden's press testimony that the fact that you are being watched down to every single keystroke on your keyboard is being tracked has been pretty well confirmed.
It helps to try to stay below the radar. Not to do your banking online, not to be on Twitter, not to.
It helps not to be visible.
Yeah,
Those
I mean, like-
the traffic cameras take pictures of cars, but they take pictures of people walking down the street and people crossing the intersections.
Yep.
They haven't gotten to the point yet where they take pictures of me leaving my house,
Oh, we do in San Diego.
but they did do work on the camera on the down the street on the cul-de-sac, so
Yeah.
they can tell if I leave my immediate neighborhood. There's only 2 exits, so both of those are on Pilot Knob, so I'm visible
And
there, both me car.
They also sell masks that are supposed to fool facial recognition software. You know, something like a stocking over your face will
Yes.
very often fool
But it also
facial
is
recognition software.
it's easier to find people doing that with their faces because their faces don't look like faces. So they're going to pay more attention to people who are trying to disguise their appearance than people who are just walking around, so to speak, naked.
Right. But you know, there's the stocking over your face, which is the
Yeah.
cheap way, and there's the, you know, you buy a good full facial recognition mask that does not show up as a mask. You know,
Yeah.
But who's going to wear one of those? Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I had 2 quarters of theater makeup, so I can make an approximation of it.
Yep. Am I up?
Yes.
You're up.
Yeah. So here's the other problem, and I'll talk to someone who has doorbell cameras, as everybody here in the ghetto has. You know, I do not. I had some, and they're obsolete. But you realize I want to get a doorbell camera system at my gate, my front door, my back door, whatever. But I don't want Nest or Amazon or Apple where all of your stuff is stored on the cloud. And the cops, in quotes, have instant access to that cloud. In other words, license plate readers if I drive down the block, there are license plate readers on everybody's front door, or at least make model identification. And they can put in a zip code, who owns a metallic British racing green Mini Cooper 2025, and boom, Dean Petty. So you are always under the cloud of surveillance at all times, given the cloud of front door and security cameras. And I don't want to put my stuff on the cloud. I want to put it on my hard drive. Thank you very much.
We have a problem right now in Minneapolis with a couple of versions of the shooting, the accident. And one of them is being submitted by people who want to say that this gal was not guilty of trying to deliberately run this police officer over, this ICE officer over. And the other one is being presented by people who are trying to argue that she was trying to run this particular officer over. And they're using cameras and video to basically be the foundation for their support. But you have to come up to a point to where you say, first of all, I've always known that this business of putting cameras on police officers on their chest here isn't going to make any difference to anything because it's going to be in the editing and how it's been being delivered back to the public that matters in terms of that stuff.
And it's owned by a private company called Axion.
Plus, the fact is that you can be told that something is happening in a video, or maybe even a single shot of a video or a frame that does not have anything to do with reality. And I mean, George Orwell talked about that before they even had smartphones. But to be able to be told that what you're seeing isn't real because it doesn't doesn't line up with your political agenda is very, very certain.
Yeah.
It's very difficult not to see what you're told to see.
One of Cory Doctorow's first politicized sci-fi novels was called Little Brother. Yes, after Big Brother.
Yeah.
That's also a very good one. I didn't like Down and Out in the Magic Kingdom anywhere near as well as this guy did, but that's a very old one of his. It's about 30 years old now.
Who's calling on
this video has got a little bit more. I mean, I'm not going to finish the video, but in the chat, I have posted the plan to make this internet worse forever. Meets Cory Doctorow, so that I think it's the last
video.
It's the last video in the chat. Let me change my name on participants. I'm not going to be host any longer. I'm going to change it.
And have you cut off the first half hour?
He hasn't posted any of it. Yeah.
I'm going to, Carol.
No.
I have my hand up.
Go ahead, Dean.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I watched KPBS NewsHour on Fridays. I always watch. I call it Shields and Jago, Count Pointerpine. And there is a 1951 study by a university, Yale or Dartmouth.
1951?
51. And it was and I'll get back into sports. It was a Dartmouth Yale game, or Dartmouth Brown, I forget, Ivy League, right? and they had film, as in actual movie cameras, right, of this game. And it was a brutal battle, do or die, Ivy League. And they showed that video of the game to Dartmouth fans, and I'll say Brown, but it could have been Yale. And 100% of the Brown people said, oh, those guys played much dirtier than we did. They committed all the penalties. And the Dartmouth people said no. And so the point of this was, we see in a video what we want to and expect to see. We see it with our own expectations. And he was bringing that to point on the Minnesota videos. You will see what your expectations and belief system wants you to see. And I know what I saw, and I did not see, I saw a woman trying to just leave the scene. Other people will 100% see that she was trying to murder an ICE officer. You see, so what we perceive is affected by our belief system, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to
By
have
the
to,
way, 1951, you said 1951?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
That was the year in which Alan Turing wrote an article for the British journal Mind,
He
in
brought
which
up
he
Alan
described the
Turing in
Turing
that.
test.
Yeah, he brought up Alan Turing in that
Yeah.
little discussion. Yep.
Part of the thing in Minneapolis that doesn't get much attention is that the shooting officer, 8 months ago, I think, was run down by a protester and dragged 100 yards.
True.
So he will be very sensitive towards a car moving towards him.
Yeah, and
Yep.
of course it doesn't get much
But he
attention from
didn't
the
have
mainstream
to
media.
step in front of the hood, and he did.
Didn't have to what under the hood?
He went in front of the hood. He could
Oh.
have stepped to the side. They could have pulled her over in 2 blocks, arrested her, whatever they wanted to do, without loss of life.
That's speculation. Why should they?
Well, we don't have all the, but what I saw him was in front of the left front fender of that car.
There's another video out later that decisively shows him running at her. He got 33 stitches from the previous criminal invader that ran into him. And the law is very clear about cars driving at.
Now, wait a minute. She's a criminal invader? She's
Yeah.
a gay mother of
The previous one that hit him.
Yes, was a criminal, correct.
And an invader. Criminal too.
But
And
you know,
times.
this is
The law is very clear about it. You can find the law. It's very clear about the driving a car at a federal agent while he's trying to perform his duty. If you look at the woman, she's clear lunatic, as most of those people are at herds.
A lunatic is not a death sentence by ICE.
Well, that's what the reality.
You're seeing what you want to see. I saw the video this morning of her talking nice to the ICE agent.
How do you diagnose psychosis?
Look her up. Long experience.
I just look in the mirror.
Hey, even I'm not that good.
Well,
hey, I am reminded of the very old story. I don't know who told it first, some ancient Greek probably, about the blind men and the elephant.
Yes.
She was going,
that's
well, for one thing,
that's what we had. Let me finish.
Okay, she's not going to answer the question.
What we have here is 30 people with cameras looking at one scene. And everyone is looking at edited versions of each of those cameras' views and trying to discern what was actually happening. Truth is 3 counties over. We are never going to know.
Yep.
Among other things, who in their right mind was 3 little kids? She was going out of her way on her way to pick up a 6-year-old child. Who with a sane mind, a mother of a 6-year-old, is going to deliberately involve these in this dangerous situation, involve herself in this deadly situation? That alone, and then if her kids were taken away from her, well, they don't do that. Take kids away from their mother,
Yeah.
unless there's really something wrong with her.
Anyway,
She chose, she
Among other things.
made an unconscious decision to put herself in a very risky situation. Do you know that Stan's cousin was out in front of the Wellaby, whatever federal building, protesting? And I texted her and I said, please be careful. I said, don't do it in your warm, cozy Subaru Outback, because that can be considered a weapon. I said, pepper spray is temporary and bullets are not. I don't know what to say. I'm, as my grandma would say, beside myself.
if we have not yet, that I have heard of, had a gang pretending to be ICE agents.
Yep.
But I'm sure it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And we live in a very strange world.
And by the way, the people that were shot and walked 20 miles and went to the hospital in Portland were criminally related. The woman ran a Venezuelan prostitution trafficking ring. So they were wanted for real things. Apples and oranges to Minnesota. But, yeah.
The world is not the place I grew up in.
That's for sure. Minneapolis area is not what I came here because it was arguably the best gene pool of any major metro area when I came here. Now it is arguably among the worst.
Yeah, well, yeah, we're good. But all I know is I was a latchkey kid, only we didn't have latches and we didn't have keys. When I walked home from school, the front door and the back door were wide open, and we didn't worry about it. You'd rather be struck. Chances of being struck by lightning, compared with having someone bad come in your house, were much, much greater.
Yeah.
Hey,
screen door was always closed.
I live within the corporate boundaries of St. Paul, and my doors are always unlocked.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. Ever since I had the heart attack and called for the ambulance, I don't want them having to break the door down to get at me.
Exactly. Yeah. I've actually gotten into the habit, out of whatever people bugging me, of usually locking a door or two, although my sliding glass door in the back is always wide open. So,
you know, I can reach both the phone and the gun from lying flat on my back in bed.
Oh, you have a gun. See, I have a 2-year ban on owning a firearm in California, but we won't.
Do you care to say why, or Dean? Do you want to say why, or?
Well, it doesn't really matter, because as I told the so-called judge, who was just a lawyer asshole, I said, when I came back from Vietnam, I put my guns down, and for better or for worse, I will never, ever live in a household that has firearms in it, because that's Vietnam to me. and I don't want to sleep with a 38 under my pillow. I'll take my chances, and I have. There are a couple of times in 55 years that I kind of wished I had a 12 gauge shotgun or whatever, just to threaten someone. But yeah, I said, I'm never going to own a gun anyway, but I can't go to, well, you can't buy a gun in California anyway. I can buy it on the internet.
I am of the opinion that a house gun is useless unless you can reach it lying on your back in bed.
Correct.
Well, depends on your house. If you're unlocked, you're right. You're probably right if you don't have your door locked.
Doesn't matter if the house is, it doesn't matter if the house is locked or not.
Yes, it does. It gives you a little more time to get ready, to get your gun out.
What, to wake up and go fetch your gun?
Well, it's not going to be far away, I would hope.
That's why I want the security cameras, because then I can pull up a fake plastic gun.
Yeah.
If I feel threatened and say, "Who dat?"
Yeah, mine's out of sight, so not to be readily found, but I can get at it really within a few seconds.
I have friends that have guns, and I'm not anti-gun, but years ago, I had a girlfriend who I was cohabitating with, whose husband, she wasn't divorced, was a San Diego cop, right? Which was a little scary, except he could run plates for me, which was cool. But now they can't do that. When he moved out, he insisted, and she knew about how to do firearms, a long-barreled 38 that she kept under her pillow. And in the heat of passion one night, I pulled out this frickin' gun, and I freaked the heck out. So we agreed to compromise. I said, when I'm in the house, you will put that under the mattress above the box spring. And when I'm not sleeping over, you can put it under your pillow. And we agreed on that. And that was a happy enough compromise.
Next week, Tom Walsh is doing the presentation, a continuation of energy.
Okay.
But we don't know what.
He seems to have disappeared.
Yeah.
Well, it's after.
Here's my continuation of energy. Yerba mate with a little caffeine in it.
Have a good week.
Yeah.
Who was doing this presentation? I must say it was very good.
Tom Walsh.
And
Dan Bissinger did today.
Okay. I
there he is.
I'm sorry, I'm eating lunch and I don't want you to watch me.
yeah, particularly since you're so
I haven't eaten breakfast yet, but that'll
Yes. And
oh my God.
Just because someone mentioned it, the red thing behind me is a Hawaiian shirt.
Triple X, quadruple X.
A very large Hawaiian.
It's a 6X.
Okay.
It is. And I bought it. It was always too big for me, even at my largest. But I did not even know what it was. I was at the Goodwill and I saw this piece of fabric flopping out of a cart, and I said, I want that. and the lady says, you don't even know what it is. I said, it's a piece of gorgeous fabric.
Yeah,
It'll be a shirt. It'll be a shirt. I said, I love the pattern. And it is a beautiful shirt. And it was always way bigger, too big for me, even at my biggest. But I needed a backdrop and I put it up.
I love it.
I got compliments on it, and there it is.
Yep.
It reminds me of when I was living in Panama, and the people who lived on the San Blas Islands, right off the coast of Panama,
east or west?
Oh, God, it does funny things right
Well,
there.
Atlantic or Pacific?
Atlantic,
Okay.
but it was the San Blas Islands, and they did a form of artistry, which consisted of taking a number of different solid colored pieces of cloth and
Like-
stacking them on top of one another.
Like quilting.
Somewhat like that.
In a way.
These were usually about, I don't know, 15 inches by 15 inches, maybe 16 inches squared. And the top was always red. It was always the red of Tom's background. And they would create images by cutting into the fabric.
Mhm.
And depending on how deep you went, the image was a different color.
There's a name for
Mhm.
that. It's like decoupage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember the name, but I can't. So I'm just describing it. But they were always on the surface of them, that sort of Chinese red that
Yeah.
H. Tom has in back of him.
No,
I call that more brown, but I don't know what it
it's,
looks like
it's,
in
it's,
person.
it's not a, well, parts of it are red, but I would say this color right here was paprika.
There you go,
But,
paprika, or with hints of nutmeg.
Yeah, but I did not even know it was a shirt. I saw that, you know how a shirt can be flopping out of a cart, and yeah, I want that.
Sometimes there are just
It can be
gorgeous fabric.
it can be a sheet, it can be a pillowcase. I don't care what it is.
And do you know the origin story of that shirt? Is there a label in it, or made in?
The origin is that I found it at the Goodwill in Apple Valley, Minnesota.
There you go. Yeah. And I love the irony of my POW cap, which a friend gave to me, right? He was a Vietnam vet, and the black POW MIA cap. And I wear it to honor him. But the irony is, it's a nice cap. When I look inside the label, it is made, guess where? In Vietnam. Love the irony.
Yeah.
I'm hearing a beep
It
beep.
says-
I'm hearing a beep beep. They might be coming to pick up my roof. We got a
It
roof
says-
on our garage almost put up in one day.
Oh.
Demo
It
and
says,
it's only a
it
garage.
says Happy Bay 5XL, Happy Bay happy-bay.com.
Okay.
And the back is
Not obeying
100%
federal
some
law,
kind of
where
plastic.
they have to have the country of origin, because that used to be a federal law, unenforced.
100% what?
TERIVOIL,
Acrylon or acrylic, yes.
made in India.
There you go.
Uh,
Bleeding Madras, as we used to call it. Back in my Madras tie-dye days.
Well, if anybody remembers what those things I was talking about were called, they used to show up in frames on the wall and as
Yeah,
the front,
I should know.
as the front of a pillow, or so.
I should know, but I don't.
Sewing and quilting shows, and I'm sure I've seen some of that where you overlay it, and then you cut through to get the reveal of the color or colors underneath. Yep, there's a name for that.
It's PIERC.
Okay, quickly, I want to ask for a vote. I will cut off the random bits on the video. Do you want, can I see a show of hands? Do you want me to do that? Or leave
Yes.
it as I do it, or leave it as I do it?
Well, of course, we can't talk freely unless if it's being recorded, being we don't really have free speech anymore.
What my vote has been, and I don't know how much work it is, unpaid work for you, is to create 2 videos. One for the random bits and another one for publication. That would be my druthers.
Yeah. Well, I'm just thinking of attracting people to our group because they see something out there that's interesting. They view the video and they say, "Oh, I'm going to check these guys out."
We have all seen people, I have, and I've only been with this group for a short time. I've seen people come in the middle of our random bits, and then we go off on our beautiful tangents, and boom, I see them leave.
Yeah. Well,
I'll say what I'll do. Because I have copies of the entire video, I cut it down when I do the editing. I'll just start the videos off with the beginning of the presentation. And then I'll do everything else the way I'm doing it, putting all the chapter titles in and adding all the links. And
Yeah,
if
I
anybody-
would very strongly suggest that the people who are making the presentations include a page that is the video link so that the people who are looking at the discussion can go see the video and then come back to the discussion.
I want to just take, Carol, hold on just a bit. I'm going to bring up one of my videos.
And Stan, while you're doing that, you have fingers and ears that are separate. Yeah, I think the fact that you are saving these videos on your Google Cloud gives you functionality that I may or may not be able to see. Does that make sense?
Well,
Perhaps.
if you can look at YouTube videos, you should be able to look at these.
Okay.
No, I'm talking about with all the little curvy lines and the chapters and all that. I don't know that I can see those.
You can pause it because I'm still trying to set up my.
Okay, Carol, this is last week's presentation. You
Yep.
see? So if I go down here to the chapter heads here, it says random bits right there. And then if you scroll over, it's going to change to presentation begins.
Ah,
And if I keep scrolling on over, oh, MIT has predicted this is the first video.
and Stan, you have manually inserted those, right?
Well, the way that I just insert them is you go down into the
That's manual. There you go. You go down into. You realize that I keep getting bugged. Zoom has an AI that will allegedly do this for you, maybe, sort of, kind of.
I've seen that too, but I haven't tried it. This is the title card. So you see there's a title card there.
Yes.
Then I go to random bits and it goes to random bits. Then I can go to presentation begins and that's the presentation begins. Or I
Right.
go down to the first video.
And my suggestion is
to
twofold. That you start the video at presentation begins, and that every time there is a video to look at, you include a page with the address of that video.
Now, down here where it says video links, you can click on these links and go and watch the videos as well.
Yeah, and Stan, real quick,
Yeah, but again,
I want to test this on my Google platform, which is not the same as yours.
so many casual people on YouTube just click on the damn video and watch it.
Correct.
And by the time they get through the half hour of random bits, they give up.
They'll get
That's what I'm trying,
of it. Yeah.
Dean,
that's what I'm trying to avoid.
how is your version of Google and YouTube different from my version of Google and YouTube?
You are signed in 24/7. I am not. I'm an observer. Do you want to have a Google? No, I just want to watch a YouTube. And that's what I do. When you're signed, just like being signed into Apple or anything else, when you're signed in, didn't you just watch that hour and 20 minutes that you played? We get different versions of reality depending on our relationship with the silicon tar pit.
I think
But I'll give it a try.
I think that
Anyway,
Educated on this stuff, but
if you go down, let me share this again. If you go down the secret,
I have to go. I
do
will
that
see you next week.
yeah.
Tom, thanks for coming.
Oh,
Yeah.
what's happening next week?
Tom Schwartz is going to talk about energy.
Ah, good. Okay.
So look at this, Dean. You have to go down to where it says more.
All I'm saying is, Stan, can you just text me a link to this? I can't grab it off your screen. If tech actually worked, I could grab it off your screen and save it, but I can't.
Look in your email. I've already sent this out to everybody.
Okay. Yeah, I will try it and see if I get the same thing. I may, just like you guys educated me on
If you go into
LinkedIn or whatever the hell you guys call it. Yeah, if you dig and burrow and get a shovel out and dig around, I can find usually sort of kind of what I want to find out. But, I told you, Stan, they're in random order, anywhere from 2017 to 2025. I would love to be able to scroll through them on a weekly basis. Zoom or Meetup doesn't allow that, apparently. I don't know. They're unordered. My point is, if I missed a meeting, I would like to watch that while I had a football game playing in the background on mute. That's my room lighting, by the way, my 55-inch TV. It's kind of my room lighting, my background lighting.
Okay.
Expensive, but
I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna give it to Dean. I'm gonna give you the host.
Okay, but Stan, before you go, isn't it, first of all, like everybody says, it's going to turn people off just seeing us random guys babbling away if you just try to sample us. And second, isn't it kind of presumptuous that assuming that all these people on the internet watch YouTube viewers want to watch us, our opinions? What are we?
Very presumptive.
Yeah,
Hey,
we cater to
Eric,
and I'll say elite audience.
You're
There
here.
are people on the internet who go browsing.
Yep.
And if they see a
They don't
topic
go
they're
browsing.
interested
Google
in,
browses them
they click
for
on
you.
but if you have
Yes,
limited time as in the real world and rational, you try to filter some way, narrow it down, use some kind of a filter to get most relevant things to watch. I do anyway.
Like we just watched, though.
I have some expertise in what they're talking about. I want to, some evidence of that.
They give you the illusion that you are browsing, but you're browsing what they are putting down your feeding tube.
Well, I search, I'm sure they edit that. There's, depending on what you watch. Yeah, there's,
I back out and then I do a new search.
yeah, I keep doing searches to first narrow it
Yeah,
down. And then I
which
have
was
to
the whole
judge.
point of that video. Why do we have to do that? It is not customizing it for us. It is customizing it for them. Now, often I will get interesting things pop up on the sidebar.
Have you noticed that lately there's a huge escalation in, if not outright lying, then extreme exaggeration in the titles of YouTube videos? They say,
Oh,
"Oh,
yes.
you look now,
Yeah.
it says Iranian government collapsing. It is not collapsed yet.
They have dynamic titling. I swear to God, they do.
That's
I'll
called,
keep
that's
jumping
called
and I'll get
clickbait.
these hits, and
Yeah,
they will
but
have
it's
nothing.
escalated. It's escalated to the
Yes,
point
it
of
has.
outright lying now.
Yeah, it's
Well, for me, what I find is, because I can see it, is they're using more AI images that have a sort of a surreal, beyond perfect look to it,
Yep.
which I think people go, oh, well, no, that looks really good
Oh,
video.
yeah, I
Really
don't
good.
even look at the shorts anymore. They're all like a majority of them, I'd say, no, are fake, and they show all the quite realistic ones. My son noticed that, like, baby boomers are, I watched the one and it fooled me for a little while where they have an actual person, well-known person talking in his voice, only those are not words that he ever said in the real world.
Yep. Happens
I
all
And
saw
they
a
fooled me for a while. And my son noticed, who's much younger, of course, said, "Oh, look!" But from the comments, all these baby boomers were fooled by it, and the young people probably were less so.
I saw a video where this guy in an army suit went to his tank. He was a tanker, and he lifted the tank up from one side by hand. And it looked very realistic, but it was obviously AI. Uh,
But I'm getting where I don't even look at the short ones anymore. They're almost all overwhelmingly fake now.
yeah.
Yep.